All right. Well, here we go. Take one. Welcome. I will be furthering my argument and slightly changing it from where it was. Don't mind. I was looking up again how to press record. Okay. Anyways, that needs to go. Okay, so I am presenting once again on the Down to the Eagles, and this time solely kind of focusing on the equality of the sexes and how did Whitman get to this progressive at the time view. Okay, so this is our manuscript from last time that we looked at and which we're going to use this time. These are the scraps as well. And now we're going to bring in this presentation, a second poem because by popular request on my original, people wanted more background of Whitman's own life to help further um, this argument that I'm about to make of equality. And they also wanted another poem. So I'm going to be bringing in both from the 1891-92 deathbed edition, um, We Two Boys Together Clinging. All right. And my argument. So again, according to a lot of feedback from the original post, where many people stated they want to see this connect with another poem and its background as gay, heterosexual, or homosexual in connection with his major themes throughout his life. So here's my argument. Whitman's championing of the equality needed of both sexes within a relationship, as seen in The Down to the Eagles, and as I argued last time, this is a relatively radical view at the time, comes from his background of his fearless homosexuality, which is just depicted in Calamus in his poem "We Are Two Boys Together Clinging." And this mimics, kind of gives a biography of into his personal life, which then influences the Down to the Eagles and my argument of defining the woman's role as equal to the man's, or as each partner's equality, no matter what, if you're homosexual, heterosexual, whatever, as this equality in the man's dance spiral of a relationship. Okay, so in Dalliance, individuality and unity, I decided to cut out the passionate and slow burning parts, also according to popular request, and I agree with them. So again, from the scrap, together as one, the clinching, interlocking. This was in the third line of the manuscript, and then it was actually just cut out. So in space, together, the clinching, interlocking clause. So as I stated earlier, this as one um, is kind of pushed back because Whitman wants to argue that individuality comes before unity. You need to be an individual. You need to go through the space together, the clinching, interlocking claws, and the living, fierce, gyrating wheel. You need to individuate and come together and find this unity. And so this as one was pushed um, later into the seventh line as well, which I talked about in the last time, into the archaic word twain, meaning two. Um, so yeah, and now we're gonna weave in two boys together clinging um, in individuality. So don't have a manuscript for this one, but just comparing it to the manuscript of the Down to the Eagles. No law less than ourselves, owning, sailing, soldiering, thieving, threatening. In this poem, being together is both celebrated while also being oneself, and that is stated by no law less than ourselves. Is to be that individual despite what the laws tell you to go. And that could be an obvious reference to homosexuality. He doesn't have to say that. Um, I do believe back then homosexuality in the open was not allowed. So, or was very, very frowned upon. And doing what you want, even if that means breaking the law, that's being a rebel, that's being an individual. And that is a huge part um, of the relationship, which Whitman defines as extremely important, which then later they will come together. Back to Dalliance, mutual equality. The twain, this is in the first scrap, or not scrap, but the first manuscript. The twain, the male and the female. This was cut, as you can see, with the red and also the slash through the twain. But that was earlier in the poem, and now it was moved back in the published version. The word twain moved to later in the published poem, same sentiment as in the manuscript. However, in the published version, equality between both the eagles, symbols for human relationship, is developed far more. And the developing is important, but it's the equality, the two, yet one. So they're not quite, they're only one for a few moments, but they are equal. And the only way they become equal is by is dancing with each other, is practicing um, this dance. And there needs to be two partners, which I will get to later, and that's why my original title photo was a picture of a man and a woman dancing. Is because a relationship is a dance, and it takes two people of equal skill and equal grace. Um, Two eagles or two men or two women, men and women, to make the dance work. And weaving in we two boys together, clinging, mutual quality. And this is the opening line. We two boys together, clinging, one the other never leaving. Up and down the roads going, north and south excursions. So going, north and south excursions. They're going their own way, being individuals, but they're two. Just as kind of the twain here, the twain yet one. We two boys together, clinging. It's very much mimicking the sentiment and the imagery of the Eagles. Um, Equality is less groundbreaking, and this is more going into the biography and why uh, Whitman was kind of the first person to really start championing equality between heterosexual couples, between the male and the females, because he was homosexual, and there is no inequality between two males that love each other in a historical sense. There's, men have been told since the dawn of time to that men are or that are women are inferior because of the Adam and Eve story. But that that equality where Whitman makes the jump is less groundbreaking because it's his own sex. But what makes Whitman groundbreaking is then he equates as in being a homosexual and the equality between two men. He realizes that works very well as a relationship, is equality. That's where the beauty of a relationship comes out. Why don't heterosexual couples do that too? Why is that even a question? And that's what makes him so groundbreaking is he takes his own viewpoint and he makes it universal. And so something so obvious for a heterosexual couple has been talked down upon for generations. And it takes something so simple as two men, this poem, Two Boys Together Clinging, or the Dalliance of the Eagles, where it's not even humans. It's a man, or just two separate eagles. And you can see it's a dance in the mating ritual and the spiral of death. Um, that equality is needed. And relationship is a dance. Equality is needed. Wow, look at me. So in the original manuscript, you can see a lot is cut. Um, Motionless a minute. There's a lot of dancing metaphors. Balanced, motionless. Then um, you can see just the changes. Like making it more like a dance. And from the manuscript into the published versions, till over the river poised the twain yet one, a motionless still balance here, then parting, talons loosing, upward again on slow firming pinions slanting in their separate diverse flight. She hers, he his pursuing. Like it's just this beautiful, vivid picture that he's painting of a dance between. Oh, and it's a sexual dance. It's this climactic part that's depicted in the published version below here. Um, yeah, inequality is needed between the two, as stated before. And then weaving in we two boys together, um, a dance, all relationships are, and these two are power enjoying, elbows stretching, fingers clutching, armed and fearless, eating, drinking, sleeping, loving. It's like a dance of life. It's not just, the talons clenching. It's not this physical depiction of a kind of dance. It like this relationship, this dance is life. And cities wrenching, ease scorning. It's all these present in the doing, the scorning, the mocking, the fulfilling. Like all this is present moment. It's like this day, like every action, fulfilling and wrenching is a dance, scorning, clutching, and loving. Um, and dalliance is the same way. And skyward in the air, a sudden muffled sound that downs to the eagles, the rushing amorous contact high in space together, the clinching, interlocking claws, a living, the ing, interlocking, beating, swirling, grappling, tumbling, all of this. Like it just relays this dance-like quality to the relationship that he's arguing. And again, I'll beat you over the head with it. It takes two to dance. And that's the beauty of Whitman's argument here. You can't have someone that is you can't have inequality within a dancer. It's not a dance. It doesn't work. And then I won't read all this out, but we can see this in Whitman's own life with Peter Doyle, like a man that was handsome and witty, not educated as often were, but became the biggest sort of friends and a friendship that would last for the rest of Whitman's life. And it was the most intense and romantic friendship the poet would have. It's stated in his biography and through his works and diaries, like Peter Doyle was this equal to him, and that's where that intense romantic friendship became. And just as Whitman had picked up the germs of many of his quotes from the stories sort of told him, he picked up from Doyle his stories. Like Doyle also has lived and his stories to tell and informs Whitman, and Whitman takes his stories and put them into his own work. Like it's this equality, it's this mutual kind of artistic relationship that they have, which is super special. So you can see his own Whitman's own background playing out in the poetry of the two poems that I've selected. So why does Whitman champion both sides? Whitman was known as a homosexual. That in itself was progressive now and was extremely progressive back then, maybe not even allowed. Whitman, being Whitman, takes his ideals formed through male love, physical equality, and transfer them to heterosexual love. It's that jump that makes him so vital. If men and men are equal in love to have a good relationship, shouldn't men and women be equal as well? And then again, love is like a dance. It takes two people of equal skill and grace to love well. There's natural equality needed. Why should we care? Whitman wants his readers to get the most of their lives. Having a good relationship will do that. You'll not have a good relationship if it is unequal on either side. Whitman's trying to help you. He's like your therapy, your relationship therapist. And Whitman argues one must be their own individual to respect themselves in order to be one half of the relationship and to become one. And that is my presentation. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you. Okay, so that stopped recording.